Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Bwisa. I want to look at this wise saying: a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Meaning, one weak part will render the whole weak. I want to say this in relation to poultry farming in Bungoma County. Yes, in Bungoma County, we have the Chwele processing plant. When Chwele processes its chicken, it sends them to distributors, to retail groceries, to food service institutions, even for export. But let's ask ourselves, where does Chwele get its market rate broilers to process? From the poultry farmers. And where do the poultry farmers get their broiler chicks? From the hatchery. And where do the hatcheries get their fertilized eggs? From the breeder chicks or the breeder farming. And where do the breeder farms get their breeder chicks? From the primary breeder farms. So we have the primary breeder farm producing breeder chicks to give the breeder farms. Then the breeder farms produces the fertilized eggs, which go to be incubated in hatcheries, and hatcheries produce broiler chicks, which go now to be farmed by the poultry farmers, and these are the poultry farmers that sell to the processing plant, a whole value chain. You see, so this chain is as strong as its weakest link. But wait a minute, is the chain complete? Let's go on. The feeds, the primary breeder farms, the breeder farms, the poultry farmers all get feeds from somewhere. Here, let's assume they get them from a feed mill. Of course, they buy them from shops and so on and so forth. So, from a feed mill. But where does the feed mill get its grain to mill? From the grain farmers, sorghum, millet, soya. So our chain expands from the farmers of sorghum, millet to the feed mill into the already mentioned value chain, supply chain. Now, when the hatchery has done its job, there is waste. And when the Chwele processing plant has also done its job, there are byproducts. These ones can go to the rendering plant. These are plants that produce pet food from those byproducts. Of course, Chwele can process further. It can produce, say, fillet or boneless thighs, for example. That will also end again the distributor, the market sphere. But again, byproducts can go to the rendering farm. And now, the primary breeder farms will produce those droppings. The breeder farms also will produce droppings. Poultry farmers droppings. All these can be put into organic fertilizer and taken back to the grain farmers. And of course, the broilers, the primary breeders, all those, breeder farms, they will have their chicken get old and they can go off as ex breeders. So what have we seen? An entire chain here. And what did we say? A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So if Chwele is not doing well, then where is the weakest link? Is it the feed mill, for example? If farmers are complaining about expensive feeds, could that be where Chwele processing plant could focus on in terms of support, in terms of integration? Is it the fertilized eggs that are not uh, good enough? They don't hatch in good numbers. Is that where the Chwele can focus on in terms of assistance? In other words, research will be necessary for us to identify, for Chwele to identify the weakest link in this whole chain and see what type of support it might want to, you know, to give. After all, it's like we are all sailing in one boat, and it doesn't matter who makes a hole on that boat. All of us will sink. We can not afford to work in isolation. Look at these linkages. We are a whole chain, and therefore we need to be as strong as possible. So, what lessons have we learned? That chicken processing plants can breed community development. Yes, Chwele processing plant can actually breed the entire community, Bungoma community development. Chicken processors can gain from strategic alliances with strategic partners along the supply and value chain. Yes, the Chwele poultry farm, the processing plant, can have strategic alliances along the chain. Now, for new investors, it pays to study the existing value and supply chain to identify viable entry points and avoid cutthroat competition. Yes, it's not a must that all of us go to produce poultry, broilers to sell to Chwele market. We can spread our investments. We can start farming grains. We can start milling the grains. And lastly, the market for chicken actors on the value and supply chain is largely internal. What do we mean? If Chwele can do well in marketing, then it will have enough to buy the chicken. So the chicken farmers will have market. But once the chicken farmers have done well, they have profits, then they will be in a position to buy the eggs. And if the eggs are bought well, then the hatchery will have enough, to buy from the breeder farms. So in other words, the value chain increases. Indeed, I hope this sheds some light on areas that we can concentrate on in terms of developing our Chwele processing plant and by extension chicken farming in the community of Bungoma County. Thank you for listening.